Please submit your questions in the question box to the left of the slides. If you're interested in meeting with Titan Lithium, please click on the Schedule Meetings tab found in the platform navigation bar. You'll be able to view the company's availability and submit a meeting request. On a final note, all of today's presentations will be recorded and available for 24/7 replay. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Craig Alford, Chief Executive Officer of Titan Lithium, which trades on the OTC markets under the symbol CDSG. Welcome, Craig.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thanks very much for the intro. Good afternoon, all. I'm Craig Alford. I'm a professional geologist. I've been working worldwide for the last 37 years in many, many countries around the world, almost everywhere but Antarctica in terms of continent coverage. And I'm here to talk to you today about some excellent projects we're uncovering in the country of Tanzania. The company, the stock ticker is CDSG, and we do have projects as well in Nevada, and that's an image right there on the left side of the West End lithium claims that occur actually within the boundary of American Lithium's TLC project. And the project actually exists within the boundary of the resource envelope for TLC. However, we need to drill and build that up, and that'll be an interesting story in itself. Well, I'm sure a lot of people are aware by now. I think there's been a lot of presentations about the massive upcoming demand for lithium as the world goes electric. There's not as much market penetration within the US and Canada for electric vehicles, but I see more and more on the road every day, and I see more and more of the big three companies coming out with electric vehicles, as well, of course, as the frontrunner Tesla. I don't think I need to go into this very much, I'm sure, but the idea is that there's going to be a production shortfall. Mines can't just double, triple production overnight. It's very difficult to do. And new mines come online pretty slowly. I mean, even if you've been drilling a resource, you usually drilled into a reserve and so on, and then permitting. So it does take time to get to market. So the hunt is on really for these high quality lithium projects worldwide. And a lot of automotive companies have actually started investing directly in the miners. In January, the end of January this year, General Motors announced it was investing $650 million into Lithium Americas, in particularly the Thacker Pass lithium project in Nevada. There's been a lot of acquisitions announced by Lithium Americas. Volkswagen has announced plans to invest directly into miners to bring down cost of battery cells. And of course, everyone needs the piece of the pie if they're going to have an electrified fleet in order to make sure their supply chain is intact and in trustworthy nations. I mean, that's a big component. Recently, Chile announced it was nationalizing its lithium, so that makes it difficult for a lot of the miners to ensure that a constant supply is being done. So obviously there's focus on good quality jurisdictions for lithium deposits. Why are we over in Africa? Well, a lot of people may have heard of the East African Rift. It is a chain of volcanoes, as well as a spreading area that has the Horn of Africa pushing away from the African plate. And within that gap are continental volcanism, and there's a lot of light element association with this style of volcanism. There's actually been helium deposits found in the East African Rift, and that really goes to show you how light elements are associated with this, because that's the second lightest element in the universe, and the third lightest element is lithium. And there is a lot of papers. There's not so much coverage of the area we work in, but there are a lot of papers discussing the content of lithium within several styles of volcanism within this area. And we look at Mount Kilimanjaro itself here on the right-hand side, and that's actually a giant stratovolcano. Most people have probably heard of it as it's the tallest mountain in Africa, but it is, it has spewed out a lot of ash and mud flows over the millennium. And we believe that a lot of what we're seeing here to the southeast, I've emphasized it with sort of a white U shape there, is probably a spillway, a catchment basement, if you will, for ash and lahars, which are like mud flows. And it's caught many types of volcanism. The basin itself, we know to be at least 2 and 2.5 miles deep. So it's quite a deep basin. And the direction of flow, for the most part, is to the south. And we're located in the southeast portion of that sort of U shape. The country itself and where we're located has excellent infrastructure. We have paved roads right to the project boundary. We have an international airport within 60 miles as the crow flies, which you can get direct flights. KLM flies there direct. And there's a railway nearby, and there's a shipping port connected to that railway called Tanga. It's the second largest port in the country. And it's, if you can see where the project's located, there's a T and just 200 kilometers. So that's about 120 miles along the railway to the port. So we're in a great location with excellent infrastructure. The initial discovery of the project, we've moved rather rapidly here. People should understand that our first announcement for this project was on March 2nd. So we're really new to this. This is 2 months into this project. The discovery was made by basically sampling an area that's very much like what we see in the southwest US. I've worked there, I've sampled the playa basins, and we built the first sample lines, and then after getting excellent results, we added more, and we've added more and more. And in fact, this map isn't fully complete as there's some more sampling been done. So we're very excited to see the results that are coming out of this. We made an announcement today, and there's a section almost halfway through the valley of a east-west fault where it was previously mapped. However, we've discovered that it basically contains no lithium in that area. So it was a good subdivision for us to make a north block and a south block. And we made an announcement today about the size of the south block and the grade of the south block being over 4,000 ppm lithium. So that's very, very strong. And in terms of comparing it to the projects of, let's say, Nevada, it is almost 10 times stronger. When I was in Nevada, it was very exciting to get 300, 400 ppm lithium. And here we're getting 4,000, and up to 22,000 has been our highest sample result. So as I said, we've made some subdivision here, a north block and a south block. And just to keep it in mind, I'm showing it against the Thacker Pass deposit in the sort of upper right section of this slide. There's the Thacker Pass, and the red line denotes the total area that has encompassed their resource. The resource is now 19.1 million tons lithium carbonate equivalent. That's LCE, if you ever see that written down, at a grade of 2,000 ppm lithium. So that's the deposit. That's not a superficial result. And then there's the TLC project, which is near Tonopah, Nevada. And that is approximately 10.7 million tons of LCE at a grade of 790 ppm lithium. So here we are on our sample. The green is actually an area that is highly anomalous. So that's 400 to 2,000 ppm lithium would just be the green. And the red is over 2,000 to 5,000. And then there's a dark red in the south block there, which is over 5,000. And that, as I said, goes up to 10,000, 13,000, 22,000 in some places. So we have a very big and very strong lithium geochem anomaly that definitely warrants investigation. We have another area approximately 30 miles to the northwest of Titan 1 called Titan 2, very simple. And here we, some initial sampling, some prospecting resulted in finding high-grade lithium up to 9,000 ppm. And so we went back and we put in a grid over the area. It didn't cover the entire playa here. You can see where the playa is. The grid covered about 16 square kilometers. I am Canadian, so I tend to speak in metric, but it's a very large area. And within that, we discovered up to 10,000 parts per million lithium. And in general, that red area that you see averages 4,486 parts per million lithium. And it's compared against the pit plan for Thacker Pass, which averages 3,160 parts per million lithium and contains a 40-year mine plan. So it really goes to show you the size and scale of this style of deposit and what it really means to the market. We could be looking at perhaps something nearly equivalent or larger than Thacker Pass, even on the Titan 2 project. So here I'm stepping ahead a little bit of what we've been doing. We've obviously gotten geochem results, but that it's sitting on top of an area that's been known from, there were 6 seismic lines done. So they did look at the subsurface, even though we haven't drilled it yet. And we know that there's a volcanic sedimentary package underneath our area. It's a lot, again, like we see in the Southwest US, with mudstones, volcanic sedimentary sequences. And I mentioned before, it's quite deep. It's over 3 kilometers deep. However, if we pay attention to, say, the first 400 meters, that's over 1,000 feet. That's probably what is going to be our target. And here, what I'm doing is I'm just imagining now this is sitting on top of a volcanic package, and I'm just going down 15 meters. So it's very conservative estimate. The majority of this style of anomaly, when it occurs over deposits in the Southwest US, usually is weaker than what they found in drilling. So I look at the North Block area of anomalous values. It averages 4,700 parts per million lithium. And the South Block, as mentioned before, averaged 4,300 parts per million. And if I go 15 meters down, what would that mean in terms of a resource size? And I calculate that out to be at 1.7 tons per cubic meter, 38.6 million tons LCE for this North and South Block area. I should say that the North Block isn't fully defined yet. We're still sampling to the north. We're still getting good results. And we've also extended the South Block area eastward in sampling. We do have one result, which is 9,000 parts per million, which is actually 3 miles to the east. So we could see some growth of the South Block. And as you can see, the eastern edge of the South Block is almost all red. So that's terminated in high grade. So we like it to see that grow over time. So this is an absolutely fantastic result if we compare it against the deposits of the world that are the same sort of style of claystone, mudstone hosted volcanic sedimentary areas under playas. So here we see at the top Lithium Americas with the huge Thacker Pass area. As I mentioned, in the upper right, the right-hand column is the LCE. So that's the total tonnage of resource, not reserve, resource. So that's usually a larger number, much larger number than a reserve. But essentially it's 19.1 million tons LCE. And then you have the Tonoma Flats of American Battery Tech. That's 15.8 million tons. Then you have the TLC of 10.7. Ganfeng Lithium in Mexico, 8.8. Century Lithium, 6.3. And Ioneer, which is an interesting company because They received actually a $700 million to up to $1 billion line of credit from the U.S. government to get their Rhyolite Ridge project underway. And now we have our Titan 1 project. So I haven't included Titan 2 in this calculation, but I think you can see that the Titan 1 is exciting, a very exciting target coming in at 38.6 million tons LCE. Now that's potential. It's based upon, as I said, 15 meters of thickness, where we know that the target horizons that we're probably going to be looking at over the next year or two will be much deeper than that, much thicker than that. So we are speculating on this size, but I'm being very conservative, as I also mentioned that the typical geochemical anomaly over top of these type of deposits is usually of an order less than what is found in drilling. So we hope to find higher grade at depth. We currently have a low market cap, which I think should be exciting for investors. There's a lot of companies in this space, a lot of juniors. They range quite a lot in terms of market caps, and some of them, in my estimation, have almost just desert pasture or moose pasture up here in Canada, in Quebec and Ontario. But over to the right, we take a look at some companies with resources in their pocket. We have Lithium Americas, we have Alchem, we have Sigma Lithium, and we have a number of others. And we take a look at three columns here, which is the market cap in blue, the resource size in sort of orangey color, and then we have grade. So as you can see, that CDSG on the far right has a really nice low market cap for investors to perhaps be aware of. We have a potential resource which could be the top of the world, and we have a very nice grade. It's actually similar grade to lithium and pegmatite style deposits. So it's an exceptional grade, and we're going to be determining what is the cause of such a high grade. We're going to be doing some X-ray diffraction work and looking at the mineralogy here. So it's an exceptional project, and we're very excited to be moving forward with this. And I'm open to questions now. So let's see. Somebody has asked when we plan to obtain a QB or QX listing. Well, currently we're getting SEC compliant in all areas. We've took over this shell, was it last year? And I stepped in this year into the role of CEO. Since then, we've been, really moving our good projects forward, which is my main concentration. However, Chairman Harp Sangha is well versed with all the rules and regulations of the SEC, and we're doing our best to clean this up as quickly as possible, change the name, which I think is important for investors, to sort of take China out of the name. It seems to be holding us back a little bit, and we're changing the name to Titan Lithium. So all that is in with FINRA and the SEC, and we hope to be moving forward. And an uplisting is definitely something we've been talking about. Somebody's asked, how supportive is Tanzania for new mining projects? Well, that's a great question. Tanzania is a mining nation in Africa. It's the third largest producer of gold. Barrick Gold and Anglo Ashanti are both there. They've currently, as well as Liontown Resources, people may have heard of that, as Albemarle recently made a $3.7 billion offer for Liontown. Liontown are actively engaged in lithium exploration in Tanzania. There is a company that will be supplying Tesla with anode materials from Tanzania. And recently, the U.S. actually reached out and made a visit to Tanzania with Kamala Harris. going there, making a great speech, and she actually mentioned battery metals in particular, as the U.S. is looking to Africa to as a source for critical minerals, and it's important not to ignore a whole continent like that. So Tanzania is great. We know the Commissioner of Mines. He's a good friend, and he's actually reached out to say he'll help us in any way we need. Someone's asked for a update on the West End lithium projects. That's in Nevada. That's the project that sits right nestled within the TLC project. We are basically engaged in formulating plans to drill. The company American Lithium had plans to drill 19 drill holes on that ground last year. And, the logical result of our work there would probably be some sort of joint venture. However, that's still far off, but it would make sense for both companies involved in that area, since it's less than a stone's throw away. Someone's asked, is Titan 1 and Titan 2 our primary focus? Well, that obviously, due to the size and grade of those projects, they're truly jaw-dropping. I mean, I can't believe that we've been lucky enough to find something like this. And investors should be aware that no one has actually looked at this corner of Tanzania for lithium. People have scoured sort of central Tanzania for lithium and pegmatites. And there actually are a number of pegmatites in the area, which we've sent up some crews for sampling. But the lithium and clay style just has, not been on the radar of any explorer in Africa as yet. I've done a lot of research with explorers in Africa and lithium, but it's all been for pegmatites. No one's really keyed into these newer, let's call them a newer style deposit. Because previously, lithium came mainly from the brine deposits in South America, or the pegmatite style deposits that are found in the Carolinas, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, and locations, especially within Western Australia. So some people have asked what are our key milestones at the end of the year. And, this is important that we must advance our primary projects in all respects. We do intend a drill program here at Titan 1 and Titan 2. We've spoken already to a government-run contractor in Tanzania, and they would probably be the best to do. They're well equipped with all their drill rigs, and they're probably better grouped to stay friendly with all the locals, keep Tanzanians employed, and not cause a problem by bringing in a bunch of like American or Canadian companies to do the drilling. And in terms of the process of permitting, they would assist in that too. Just to let everyone know that this area in Titan 1, one of the nicest things about it is it's in a dry, flat, very sparsely vegetated basin. It's a hot, dry, flat area. It's not good for farming. It's not good for any animal husbandry. There's no real settlements there. So we really avoid a lot of the issues that typically occur within working in let's say, a second-tier nation, or even within, say, Canada, the U.S. itself. I mean, often you have to deal with a lot of social issues in order to advance a mining project, or a lot of native land issues. Here, there are none of that. So we're really happy. We couldn't be more pleased with where we're finding all this lithium. Someone's asked, are you planning to consider any other African sites? Yeah, well, I do have my eyes on other targets. I typically have been hired by junior and senior mining companies worldwide to look at where to target exploration and where to target investment of the company. And I have seen some similar areas within Africa to this. And as I mentioned before, that the lithium in clay style deposits have really been ignored. So yeah, we're looking, but quite frankly, this target, just Titan 1, Titan 2, are just so big that they're going to be the focus for us for the foreseeable, definitely the foreseeable 12 to 14 months, that we really have our eyes on this. We're expanding land holdings in the area. The actual size of the Titan 1 and Titan 2 prospecting licenses, they're called PLs, prospecting licenses, they allow you for 4 years of exploration, and you can renew them. You just pay an annual fee. And these are huge. I mean, the Titan 1 prospecting license, the primary one is 300 square kilometers, and the Titan 2 project is 53 square kilometers. So that's a huge area to explore for a junior company. We have applied for more areas, as I told you that I have my eye on some areas in Tanzania as well. So there's actually about 800 square kilometers in applications. Okay, just reading questions here. That's about it for me. I hope that everyone can see the potential here is enormous, and that I really believe that if you look back at a company like Lithium Americas or American Lithium, you look back just to 2020 at where they were, where their share price was, and where they were on their major projects. And I feel that that's where we are. We are a couple years back from that. But thanks to what they've done in advancing the technology, extraction methods, that we'll be able to more rapidly go forward. In fact, we do have a plan even within the alluvium, because as you can see here, it's just so rich. A lot of it for square miles is over 5,000 ppm. We're going to plan on seeing how we could leach the lithium from the alluvium. And if you just consider, if we bulldozed the unconsolidated alluvium into piles, we would actually have Africa's largest lithium mine solely on the alluvium alone. So we have some projects in parallel to things like that to do, but it's definitely going to be a very exciting drill program that'll be upcoming for us. So thank you very much. This has been a great opportunity to talk about these projects and hopefully get some investors excited at the size and grade of these deposits.